Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be working on the matching pillow for the star afghan and baby dress. Now I want to tell you guys I worked really hard on trying to design a square for a pillow, and I wanted it to start with the star, okay, and then we'd work out and we'd come to a square and that'd be the front panel of our pillow. That was not working out at all, and I was so frustrated. I said, forget it, I'm just gonna work a double crochet panel and we're gonna glue a star down and call it done and be good. I was so frustrated with trying to get a star into a square. I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So we have this super easy and simple pattern. I mean, basically we just work a panel of double crochets that goes around our pillow, stitch two sides shut, insert our pillow, sew one side shut, and I glued down a star on the front, and there's actually one on the back, but I can't reach it right now. I'll end up knocking my camera over if I try to grab the pillow to turn it over, but it looks exactly the same on the other side. So what are you going to need? You're going to need a skein of your main color. So this is my purple to match my blanket, and I actually just used my leftovers from working the afghan, and the same thing with the variegated yarn. I just used my leftovers from working my blanket. So get you a skein of the main color you want to use, and then the variegated color you want to use. And then, so let's talk about the pillow. Now I actually used a recycled pillow. I made a tutorial, I don't remember, it was a while back, that was a, don't headbutt the camera, that was a backrest pillow. So, and not long after that, we ended up getting a new recliner, so I didn't need it anymore. So I just cut the yarn off of it and recycled the pillow. So it's a 14 by 14 pillow. It's a pillow insert from Walmart, or you can get yours off Amazon, or they have them at Hobby Lobby. I'm not really sure if they have them at Michael's or Joann's or not. I'm not sure. But just get you a pillow insert or a pillow form, a 14 by 14. And you don't even have to use that size. You can use any size pillow you want to, because basically there's no stitch count for this entire, well, I mean for the star, yes, but for the panel, all we're going to do is chain from one side, and don't go exactly all the way to the other side. We're going to be a little bit short, and then work your rows of double crochet with that same concept. Don't go all the way side to, or I mean, you know, end to end. We're going to be shy just a little bit, so when we stitch that up and slide our pillow in, because you guys know your crochet work has a little bit of give, right? Well, whenever you're working something that you want to be snug on a pillow, if you work it the exact size of the pillow, by the time you get the pillow inside, it's going to be too baggy on your pillow. So if you work it a little bit smaller, so that your piece has your piece is going to have a little bit of give, that little bit of give is going to fit just perfect on your pillow. So if you just work your chain a tad bit shy on, you know, go exactly from one side to a tad bit shy on this side, and then that same concept, don't go exactly from end to end, just a little bit shy. Sir, what are you doing? Churchy just knocked my anyway, I don't want to tell you guys what I knocked over. You're going to know what I'm working on. So anyway, that is the concept for our panel. And then I'm going to, in the video, I tell you guys there's a link in the description box for the blanket. And all you got to do is just go over there and watch rounds 1 through 5. Work that. And if you've already worked it, you know what it is. Just work your rounds 1 through 5. Now I have 2 stars. I have one on the front and one on the back. But you don't have to have 2. I just wanted to. So and then the reason I chose to glue it down, one, it's just, right now, I mean, it's just a crocheted star, right? So if it happens to come off, which I really don't think it will, unless the child actually grabs it and rips it off, yes, it will come off, but it's a star. You can hot glue it right back on, and it's not going to hurt a thing. But, I mean, you can stitch it down using your variegated yarn. Just go through the back loops of the double crochets, you know, going around, back loop, sew it down. But I wanted to make sure it was, also the second reason I glued it down is because I wanted to make sure it was exactly centered on the pillow. So that's why I waited until after I stitched the pillow inside of the pillow cover, you know, wiggled it around, got it nice and firm in there, and then glued down the star. But like I said, you don't need to glue down the star. You can sew it down if you want to. It's a crocheted star, and no babies are going to get hurt on this, or, you know, choke on it or anything like that. It's not going to hurt anything. Any other time, do not glue things down onto things you're going to give children. This is a star. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so what I did for the main body of the project was used a 5.5 millimeter hook. But then I also used my 6 millimeter, and the reason being is because I wanted my 6 millimeter because we slip stitched 2 of the 3 sides shut, and I wanted my slip stitches to be loose, and I don't want them to be too tight, so I bumped up to a 6 millimeter. And then you're gonna need scissors, and then you're gonna need a yarn needle, to weave in the ends of your star, and then we sew up one side. We actually don't slip stitch it. The purple panel piece, I didn't even weave in my ends. They're hidden on the inside of the pillow, so you can't see it. But you're going to need it to weave in the ends of your stars. And then one thing that I haven't mentioned that you will need, but you don't need it for the actual pillow cover, you just need it for that star, is some stitch markers, if you need them or not. You'll see it whenever you watch the other tutorial for the star. Okay, that's it, guys. Oh, your glue. I just hot glued mine. So if you want to hot glue it, I have, and it's really bothering me. I have a bottle, or a tube, I should say. I have a tube of liquid stitch. So it's a fabric glue, and it's really, really strong. Like, you cannot pull it apart. Once you've glued it down, you cannot pull it apart. And I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know where I put it at. My craft room is a nightmare, and I don't feel like going and digging trying to find it in the middle of doing a tutorial, so I said, forget it, I'm just going to hot glue the star down. So use any kind of glue you want. I just use my hot glue. Okay, so get your guys' supplies together, and let's get started. Okay, guys, so to get started, we are going to get using our solid color yarn, or whichever color, it doesn't matter. Get a slip knot on your hook. I need to bring you guys just a little bit like that. All right, get a slip knot on your hook. And what we want to do is we want to chain a length to start chaining. Okay, now you want to chain your length. All right, so here is the pillow I was referring to in the beginning, that this is a little rough because it's a recycled pillow that I've already used. So it's a little rough looking, if you guys can see that. But what you want to do is you want to chain a length that's going to go from one side over, not quite to the other side, okay? If you do that, if you chain a length that goes from side to side seam to side seam, what's going to happen is when you insert your pillow, it is going to, it's going to be way too big for your pillow. So what I mean is that when you chain so long and you work it from side to side, and we work our P panel, you know, just like we're going to, your piece is going to have a little bit of give to it. Not a lot, but I mean, it's going to have a little bit. So if you put your pillow in there and then it's going to have that give, it's going to be all saggy and baggy off your pillow, right? So all you need to do is start from one side. Go from the exact side seam of one side of your pillow and chain until you're, how far is that? I'd say a good 1.5 inches. No, I go 1 inch. Go 1 inch away from that side seam. Chain a length that's 1 inch from your side seam. Depending on your tension, if you've got loose tension, then I would go, if you are really a loose crocheter, I'd go ahead and just go to that side seam. Or, I'm sorry, go 1.5 inches away from that side seam, because you're going to have a lot of give in your work if you're a really loose crocheter. If you're really tight, go like 1/4 of an inch away from that side seam, okay? But with my tension, which is pretty average, nothing special about it, I worked my chain about an inch away from that side seam, okay? So work your chain. Just work it, work it, work it. Stitch count doesn't matter. Work that chain. And once you get your chain long enough, we are going to double crochet into the third chain from our hook, just like that, and double crochet into all of the remaining chains. I'd have to say this is probably one of the easiest pillows I've ever done a tutorial on. Just double, okay. All right, double crochet to the end of your chain, double crochet into that very last chain, chain one and turn, double crochet right into that very first double, and double crochet into each double crochet across. So we're going to double crochet right across there. Oops, split that. Did it again. Ow. Double crochet into the second to last double. And now what we have is the last double and that chain that we skipped. The two chains that we skipped. So double into that last double, and then what we're going to do is go right into the side of that chain right there for a double. And that's our last double crochet, just like that. And that's all you're going to repeat. Chain one, turn, double into that very first double crochet, double into each double to the end, chain one, turn, double into each double, chain one, turn. Repeat that over and over and over and over and over again until you have got yourself a panel, just like this. So what you want, we've got the width down, right, for our pillow. Now we need to get the length. So what we want to do is work the rows of double crochet back and forth until you can take the chain where you started, put it right on the seam, right on that seam on the bottom, okay? And work your panel until it completely comes around your pillow and get it around here, is about an inch away from closing up. All right, now I'm gonna have to give mine a little bit of a tug and a squish to get the seams together, and that's what we want. So that way it's gonna be nice and nice and snug on our pillow. All right, so you just work those rows of double crochet, work them out over and over and over and over again, and stop and try, lay your chain right on, like I'm not following the seam of this because it's kind of baggy, but right on the where the seam would be on your pillow, and then stop it to where it's about an inch away from the chain, okay? And then all we are going to do, now I fastened off on mine, okay? So I'm going to bring my two ends together just like this. I'm going to pull you guys out just a little. And what I'm going to do is I am going to get my yarn, my working yarn, get a slip knot on my hook, and I am going to go through the first the side that's got the double crochet. I'm going to go right through both of the loops of that double, and then the first one is the chain, right? So I am going to find, here is the chain the double crochet we worked into the top of that chain, right? So right there is the chain that would represent the bottom of a double. So I'm going to go right into that chain, and I am going to loosely work a slip stitch. Actually, you know what? I am going to go up to a 6mm for these slip stitches because I don't want them to be tight. All right, so now what I do, go into the next double, and now all I have to do is follow the post of the double crochet down to the chain, push it right through there, and work a slip stitch through the double crochet, follow the post down into the chain, and work a slip stitch. And I'm just going to work that, slip stitching through the doubles on this side of the panel and the remaining chains on this side of the panel. So when I say that I'm following the post, what I'm doing is following the post of the double crochet up, but it's upside down obviously, to the chain and going through the chain and working my slip stitch, okay? So just work that all the way down and I'll meet you when we get to this corner, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I have repeated that down and I actually came up where the double crochet side had one more than my beginning chain right here, so I ended up just skipping one of my doubles and working into the next. And now I'm come out to where I have 2 on this side and 2 on this side, so I'm going to go through that double, through that chain, through the last double, and following the legs of the last double on this side down to my chain, slip stitch into there. And I didn't weave in my ends. I'll take care of that in a minute, so I'm just going to get them out of the way. All right, now I'm going to rotate this, and all I'm going to do is slip stitch through the double crochets along this side and along this side. Basically what I'm going to do is evenly space out slip stitches. Are they going to be perfect? Probably not. Nobody will know. Because once we flip it inside out, you're not going to see them. And I just realized I'm not on camera. I'm sorry. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I'm basically just going through the doubles. I don't want to go around it because I don't want it to leave a big gap. So I'm just going through the double and slip stitching through the spaces, the chains, just evenly spacing out double crochets. Don't bunch them up or don't space them too far apart because you'll be able to tell it. So just evenly spacing them out. I think I'm actually just going to go, no, I don't do that. Don't go around the posts of the doubles. It looks funny. I'm going to go in here and in here, through this double, through this double, into this space, here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work this down, and I will meet you when we get to this end. Okay, so I made it to the end here, and I'm just going to go through these last couple stitches. You guys notice that I've got my smaller crochet hook. Not necessary, I just chose to grab it real quick. And I'm going to go through it one more time just to make sure this corner is going to be shut. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. So what I did was just I went through that fold for when we folded our piece in half, the seam down here. I just went right through there. So now you can see it's not bunched up. It might be a little right here. I may have gotten a couple extra, but that's all right. No worries. All right, now I'm going to get my hand in there and poke the corners in. And on this side, and flip it inside out, just like this. And now I'm going to take my crochet hook and pull those tails to the inside because I didn't weave them in, and I'm not going to. I'm just going to hide them inside the pillow. Just like that. Alrighty. Get those inside. And now I'm going to insert my pillow. And it's not too tight, but it's a good snug fit. I'm pulling my pillow into it off camera because it's a little bit of a pain. Making sure my corners get filled with the corner of the pillow. Just like that. And on this side. Get in there. Alright, so here is what I'm looking at on this end. So what I'm going to have to do is get these two ends together and we're going to stitch this shut, okay? We're just going to slip stitch it. Or you can actually, it might be, let me test this. It may be, I'm not going to do the entire thing, but it may be prettier if we just, oops, of course, I just messed this up. I basically just knotted my yarn on my needle. All right, so I'm going to try to see what it will look like if we whip stitch this closed. It might be prettier. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to test out a little strip right here. What if we just do this instead? So I think I like just sewing, not whip stitching it, but just sewing it where you go in one side, out the other. Ah, what on earth did that just do? Doesn't matter because I'm going to redo it anyway. But what we're going to do is sew that shut, but instead of whip stitching it, I don't know the actual term of it, but we're going to come in and out, in and out, in and out, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like that, instead of doing that whip stitch, because it's prettier. I don't like the, I shouldn't say I don't want the slip stitches to create a seam along the side of the pillow. There. Because this is a pretty seam on this side, right? But we obviously are not going to have that on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out about a 6-foot piece. So I have plenty to work with and I don't mess anything up. And I got it threaded on my needle, just like this. And I'm going to go up one side and down. Up. And down. Up. And down. So yeah, I like the way that's going to look. It's not going to leave stitches up the side. It's just going to be sewn together. Okay, I like that. So I am just going to continue stitching this shut. Just like this. Now I'm pulling on it so my pieces, my front and back pieces lace together. Oop, I don't want to go there. Okay, I am going to finish sewing this up and I'll meet you when I get to this end. Okay, so I've made it all the way down to my fold So I came out this side, so I'm going to go back in. I have a few more I can work in here to try to make sure this is nice and neatly shut off, or sewn shut, I should say. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, pull through a little bit, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to go through my work. So basically all I'm doing is creating a loop, and I'm going to go through the loop just to create a knot. I got a lot of tail. I shouldn't have used this much, but that's fine. Pull that tight, and then I'm just going to insert my needle inside, go through a little bit, come out, pull my tail to the inside, and give it a little bit of a tug so when I cut, it pops back inside. And there we go. Now all I need to do is the same thing on the opposite end where we started, because I have a long tail here. I pulled out way too much. That's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to come out, and then I'm going to go into my loop, pull it tight, and it just knots that off. And then I'm going to insert my hook, pull it through a little, come out somewhere, give it a little bit of a tug, and cut, and it pops back inside. There we go. There are our ends sewn in. Hi, honey. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Matt came home. All right, so we've got our pillow all sewn together, got all your ends weaved into the inside of your pillow. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make a star, and we are going to, you can sew it down, you can glue it down, whatever you want to do. I'm actually just going to glue it down, and I swear I have a tube of fabric glue, and it's a liquid stitch or something like that, and I, for the life of me, cannot find it anywhere. So today I'm just going to go ahead and just use my hot glue gun, and I'm going to glue this star down. Now, normally for kids, I wouldn't tell you to glue anything down, but this is just a little star. It's not going to hurt anything. So what I want you guys to do is, in the description box, there is a link to the matching baby blanket for this pillow and dress and blanket set, okay? Now, all you're going to have to do is work rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you want your star bigger, you know, keep going. But I've only worked 1 through 5, and I'm going to glue that down. So all you need to do is go to that tutorial, watch rounds 1 through 5, make your star, or if you want your star bigger, you know, just work it bigger, and come back here, and then we are going to glue this star down. In the meantime, I am going to get you guys adjusted, figure out a way to pull you guys out a little bit, because we're too close. Okay, so that's a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I am going to flip my star over, and I am going to run hot glue all along the edge, and maybe some in the middle and some where the purple and the variegated meet, and go from there. Now I'm going to do this fast because I don't want my glue to dry while I'm in the middle of gluing it. And I am not at all concerned about this coming off. It's an easy fix if, you know, the little kid or the baby or whatnot pulls it off. Not a huge deal. And of course I run out of glue. Why not? Churchy. Okay, that's enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my star over and get it lined up the best I can. And of course I've got glue all over my hand and it's hot. Alright, now I'm just going to lay that down. I did a pretty good job. It's pretty straight. Oh, it's so hot. Alright, now I'm going to set something heavy on top of, well, no I'm not. I'm going to put my notepad on top of it to get all those pieces laid down nice and flat on the pillow. And then I'm going to put, I have this heavy bowl. I'm just going to put that on there. I'm working on a project. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a tutorial on it or not yet. And I put it inside this bowl my husband got from an antique mall that I thought was really pretty. So fortunately, using super glue, we don't have to wait, or super glue, using hot glue, we don't have to wait too long for it to dry. And I can see where I need to go back and add a little more. And if we have any of the little flyaway pieces, no big deal, we can fix that real quick. Okay, put my hot, ooh, just dropped my gun. Put my notepad back on there. I'm gonna go ahead and shut my gun off. I think we got it pretty good. Just gonna set that there. I will tell you guys, when I was designing this pillow, I really had every intention to have a star in the middle, and then we were going to work the star out into a square and make a front panel and then just have the flat back panel. That is a very, very, very hard pattern, and I said forget it and just decided to do the gluing the star down. That's still a little wet, so I'm going to let that set. But there we go. And I actually did one on the other side too. So if you guys want to make another one, you can put one on each side. So there we go, guys. That is it. Churchy's here. He's going to plop somewhere. Anyway. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Check out the description box where I got links to the matching baby blanket and the baby dress. And I've got links to the written patterns, social media platforms you guys can follow me on or post on, whatever you guys want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.